I have to wonder, what happens to the Western Conference when you sprinkle some Minnesota Timberwolves pixie dust on the Los Angeles Lakers? Does that actually make the Los Angeles Lakers a contender? And the absurd answer to that is yes, of course it does.
Live and on tape from the heart of Silicon Valley, this is the Disturbance NBA show hosted by Dave DeBaugh. Now to the host who can't stop talking about hoops, players, coaches, and the good, the bad, and the ugly front office moves that NBA executives continue to make. Dave DeBaugh.
Welcome to the Disturbance NBA show. I am Dave DeBaugh. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. And of course, like this video as well. Okay, so now that I got the groveling out of the way, it is time, North America, to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and whether or not a team that's currently 33-34 actually has a legitimate chance of coming out of the Western Conference as the representatives. I'm going to hold my role on whether or not I think they can win an NBA championship. Today's show, which we'll do in about 3.5 to 4 minutes in length, is just going to discuss whether or not they can actually win the Western Conference. Look, the Los Angeles Lakers, as I mentioned on the opening, have received some Minnesota Timberwolves pixie dust as Malik Beasley has joined the team, as D'Angelo Russell, who is back in Los Angeles. I mean, the last time he played in Los Angeles, he looked like a little kid. Now he actually looks like a grown adult. That being said, the big move, and I've said this on a couple other shows, was Jared Vanderbilt. He was a player that in Minnesota, as you know, I'm a Timberwolves fan and a Laker fan and a huge fan of the NBA. But Jared Vanderbilt was a player in Minnesota that I felt like for a while was completely underutilized. And you can see how Darvin Ham and the Los Angeles Lakers coaching staff is approaching the use of one Jared Vanderbilt. Now, look, last night, they arguably, they played the Toronto Raptors in a game. So the Toronto Raptors ended up losing to the Lakers in Los Angeles, 112-122. That being said, the Raptors are an organization that has a lot of really nice pieces. Fred VanVleet is a fantastic basketball player, and they have other good pieces as well. But yet, this ragtag group of players, that Battlestar Galactica group of ragtag players that the Los Angeles Lakers have assembled since the All-Star break, is actually seems to be working. They've won 7 out of their last 10 games, which for a Laker team that looked dead most of the year, looked uninterested, seemed to always be on the injury list across the board, only has one key injury right now. And of course, that's one of the best basketball players of all time in LeBron James. But the Jared Vanderbilt effect should not be underlooked by the rest of the Western Conference. Now, you might think Vanderbilt gets a bunch of rebounds. It's his hustle. And so, he'll give you 4 or 5 rebounds a game. He'll get a couple assists, but he's the guy that actually sets picks. He's the guy that actually gets the hockey assist that sets everything up. If you will, he's a much younger version and better version today than a Draymond Green is at this point in his career. The Lakers did a fantastic job somehow prying Jared Vanderbilt away from the Utah Jazz for basically nothing. So the question is, can this Los Angeles Lakers team actually win the Western Conference? I cite the following, which is pretty simple. Last night in San Antonio, the worst basketball team, there's 2 or 3 bad basketball teams in the NBA this year, and the San Antonio Spurs are one of them. So I'm just going to, for the sake of this, going to call them the worst basketball team in the NBA. Last night, the Nuggets lost by 8 to the San Antonio Spurs. Look, I'm just saying that on any given night, anybody can beat anybody in the NBA, and we all know that. But the San Antonio Spurs are going to take down the Denver Nuggets at home. Look, I know the Nuggets were missing a couple key pieces, but that is absolutely unacceptable. And that is the number one seed currently in the Western Conference. Just like when you think about the Western Conference right now, the Sacramento Kings look great in spurts, 39-26, and they're in the second spot. We all know what's going on with Ja and the Grizzlies at this point. We saw Kevin Durant get injured during pregame. Look, when your superstar's getting injured during pregame, I'm just saying. So, and I don't think any of us expect the Warriors to actually really be able to turn things around. They've only won 7 games on the road so far this season. That's just not going to get it done. This Los Angeles Laker team absolutely has a legitimate chance to actually win the Western Conference. And the sooner the rest of the Western Conference actually figures this out, the sooner they'll be able to actually make some adjustments. And a note for the Denver Nuggets. Look, you guys actually have to start playing some defense against the bad teams in the NBA. All right, that's it for the NBA show, the Disturbance NBA show. I'm Dave DeBaugh. Thanks so much for tuning into our Disturbance channel here on YouTube today. If you haven't had a chance, please go ahead and subscribe. And of course, like this video.
The Disturbance NBA show is brought to you live and on tape from Silicon Valley and is a production of the Mighty Rip Podcast Network. For more National Basketball Association coverage, check out our big website at disturbance.live.